This is a demonstration of CombiCalc and is brought to you by Therma Solutions, available at www.therma-solutions.com and is free to use with other market-leading web apps. CombiCalc focuses on three factors that all have a direct relationship with each other when it comes to combination boilers: flow rate, temperature rise and boiler output. Flow rate is simply the speed in litres per minute that water travels through the boiler's heat exchanger and out through the tap. Temperature rise is the difference in temperature between the cold water mains temperature entering the boiler and the hot water coming out of the tap. As a guide, most modern boilers give a 35-degree rise, so if the mains temperature is 10 degrees C, the maximum temperature you're likely to get from the tap will be 45 degrees C. It's always best to check with the manufacturer's instructions. And finally, boiler output, which is the useful energy produced by the boiler for hot water production. So how are they linked together? Well, the temperature rise in combination boilers is affected by the speed of the cold water passing into it, as well as how capable it is at heating up the water. For example, the same size boiler would provide a flow rate of 14 litres per minute with a 30-degree temperature rise, as one that produces 12 litres per minute with a 35-degree temperature rise. In this instance, temperature rise and flow are directly linked together. You can't have one without the other. It's important for the homeowner to be advised correctly. If they want to get greater flow of water from their shower, they either need to think about a larger size combination boiler or perhaps reduce the temperature rise of that hot water exiting their current boiler. Of course, there are other factors that may be affecting the flow rate, like blockages, poor systems design and layout, but we're not considering those here. So let's start with some quick calculations. To work out the boiler size, all you need to know is what flow rate the homeowner is expecting to come out from the tap and the likely temperature rise of the hot water. So in this case, we need a good 12 litres per minute and a standard 35-degree temperature rise. This gives us a boiler size of 29 kilowatts. A higher flow rate, for example, say 16 litres per minute, requires a boiler of just under 40 kilowatts. So you can see how you can play around with the figures to suit your situation. To know what temperature should be coming out of the tap is a useful one, especially if the homeowner has complained about having lukewarm baths following a new installation. You need to know if the boiler is underperforming or behaving as it should. Poor temperature delivery could also be something to do with the installation. So we put a weir gauge under the hot tap and record a flow rate of 9 litres per minute. The new boiler has an output of 20 kilowatts. CombiCalc tells us we should be getting a temperature rise of around 32 degrees. We compare this with the reading on a thermometer and instantly we're able to diagnose whether the boiler is behaving correctly or further investigations are required. And finally, flow rate. For this we need to remember that the type of tap can sometimes affect the flow rate, so it's best to try and find one that's generous in size, like a bath tap. We already know the boiler size, in this case it's 24 kilowatts. The temperature rise is 35 degrees and this is consistent with the manufacturer's instructions. CombiCalc is telling us we should be getting around 9.8 litres per minute with the boiler in service mode or high fire. However, we're getting 6 litres per minute from the tap. This will lead you into investigating the problem, which could be debris blocking the filter in the boiler, for example. As you can see, CombiCalc is not only helpful in knowing what to install, but also assisting you with diagnosing common faults in everyday situations. CombiCalc is available for free at www.therma-solutions.com.